We're coming right over one of
far and away the worst and worst.
Excuse me, Senator. Out there you can see one of public service power plants. You can see how that smoke is just hanging in there, drifting over the city of Newark.
Who owns that?
Public Service of New Jersey.
We're almost in the plume of the plant. This is sulfur dioxide, which is considered the most potent toxic pollutant from an industrial health standpoint. This is what is suspected in many cases of causing the increased emphysema.
Do you think there's progress being made or not?
I think there's progress being made, Senator, but I don't think we're keeping up with the sources of pollution, which are just, steadily increasing.
So we're really going backwards?
I'd say we're losing ground somewhat.
Yeah, about 1/10 of a part per million.
1/10 of a part per
The
million.
rain is interfering somewhat, but it's pretty clear.
Sulfur dioxide readings are relatively low, a tenth of a part per million, but of course this is not the real heating season. Most of our sulfur dioxide plants, the department has an excellent program and they're staffing up to get ready to do the job, but as the mayor's task force report called the city the worst violator of its own air pollution laws, and the city has not yet, for instance, gotten the low sulfur fuel that the city of Newark, for instance, is getting, or that Con Ed and Public Service are going to get. The city is lagging behind in these aspects. It's enforcing local law 14 on upgrading private incinerators, but it's falling behind on upgrading its own incinerators. So there's a tremendous gap between the program and the actual physical performance under it.
What is the reason for it?
Well, you're dealing with a large bureaucracy, and this is it's hard to get a lot of things moving. They have a so-called interagency committee, but Citizens for Clean Air has strongly supported the creation of this Environmental Protection Administration, which would simplify procedures and greatly accelerate the implementation of the measures. We have the technology, we have the law in the books. What we need now really is the administrative and financial resources to implement this. The city, of course, is definitely strapped for money. Federal funds and additional state support are urgently needed. I don't mean just in the budget of the Department of Air Pollution Control, but in the budgets of all the departments, housing, sanitation, and even the Port Authority needs increased attention to its budgetary needs to control pollution from its facilities. So they're not putting the money into the avenue of controlling pollution, putting it into their other needs. Going correctly.
Going this way.
Yeah, right.
Well, they're not going to be able to go over here.
Yeah, we'll be going sort of this way.
Is New Jersey doing very much to deal with it?
Just members and government members, and they've got a new director of air and water conservation in the state's Department of Health, and they're starting to get very aggressive after having been dormant for many years. And Governor Hughes has got an aggressive program going there, and I'm sure with cooperation that I know we'll get from Mr. Griswold's office, that New Jersey will get going on cutting down on interstate air pollution. The trouble is we're suffering from 20 years of neglect in this area, and we're not going to be able to cure our problems immediately without a massive program fully supported on all levels. you can see in the distance, Senator, the 74th Street station of Con Ed, and they're building a new stack, which will hopefully help disperse some of these emissions over a wider area, and they won't get right into apartment buildings. You can see just north of that power plant is a tall apartment building, which is actually taller than the existing stacks on that Con Ed plant. And there's also the city's 73rd Street incinerator, which is one of the ones which is going to be upgraded. It's going to have a Venturi-type scrubber to get rid of all of that invisible plume you can see. But right now, that whole area is being blanketed by soot fall and sulfur oxides and odors. Now, as we turn, you can see over near the Con Ed Ravenswood plant, which emitted 57,910 tons of sulfur dioxide. This was the largest single source. Of course, there they do have some tall steps which help in dispersing it. You must have known we were coming, Grizz. They cleaned it up a little bit.
They're burning some gas there.
They're burning some gas there, yeah.
I seen it across the bar.
Now we're coming up to the city's Greenpoint incinerator, and this emitted 925 tons of particulate matter last year as an incinerator. So
Where's that?
It's right over there. You can see the two yellow stacks just by the river's edge. You can see that drifting down over all of Brooklyn. This is a very large industrial area, Greenpoint, Long Island City. While we don't have the big sources such as we saw along the Arthur Kill in New Jersey, there are a number of small sources which together emit large tonnages of particulate matter and odors and sulfur oxides. 3 years, well, 2 years now, we'll have to have 99% precipitators, which will help reduce some of that visible emission. But they don't have that 99% precipitators on there yet. Some of them are maybe only 90% efficient because they're old and just don't have the latest technology installed.
How much of the pollution, what percentage of the pollution would be cut down if the laws that are presently on the books were enforced?
Well, in terms of our soot fall and dirt in the air, if we were to get all of our incinerators upgraded and all of our heating plants upgraded, we could probably make on the order of a 50% reduction in the soot fall, suspended particulate and settlement particulate. If we did get the low sulfur oil in advance of the law, because the law doesn't really take effect before the weather cuts.
Poison fumes. We're very hopeful that the focus on this apartment building, of which incidentally with all of our complaints we like to live in, it's a very nicely integrated building and there are a lot of things nice about Bridge. However, we don't like the thought of being poisoned slowly and the fact that our tenants on the lower floors cannot enjoy a balcony that they're paying for. Particularly now with the summer and the traffic coming back from Jersey and going to Jersey, they cannot use their balcony. We're also very hopeful that a solution will be found that will not be like so many of the tenants' problems, again put back on the tenants to pay for. We're hopeful that even if it has to bite into the guaranteed profit of the Mitchell-Lama builders, that they will find a way to solve this problem and not burden the tenants more with a higher rents. We're very grateful that you're here, Senator Kennedy, and I hope that this gives us the kind of attention that we need to help solve this problem. We thank you.
Would you make some comments, sir? On her welcome?
Excuse me?
Would you comment on her welcome?
On my what?
Welcome.
On the welcome that her
Well, this tour today, of course, has been very interesting to me, and visiting these apartments and seeing again the poisonous fumes that are inflicted on the people who live in this area, as well as the noise. And I think that it's possible to live in a city and not be destroyed by the environment. And I think that the effort that is being made by the Clean Air Committee, effort to focus attention on the problem of the people that live in this part of the city, and really the people who live across the city of New York, what is developing here with an acute problem that is getting more severe each year. I think all of us owe a debt to them. So I'm delighted to have had a chance and opportunity to make this trip, and I congratulate them on the work of that committee and those who have been supporting it for the efforts that they are making.